Hi everyone, let's start the unit number 5 where we are not going to learn any new concept. We are just going to connect all the concepts which we have learned until now. Okay, so building productivity system, the promise of the session. The system was divided into two parts, projects and information. Okay, the projects part is the work which we have to do, and the alternatives to it was para, so something which you have to do occasionally and stuff like this. Then you organize it according to para. Information's entire need is to act as a fuel to projects. Okay, so now you see all it matters in all that matters is the project's output. So information acts as an input and the project's output. In the sense, let's say you intend, you have a, let's say, big project, and you did the coding part as well, but you extracted some value out of it, and you want to create a best practice design guide like a podcast. So if you have a podcast with more than 10 episodes, and it is quite, let's say, listened to in your company and maybe other people, then the output of that, it's an incredible visibility, and it grows your skill in terms of speaking articulately, and it helps in your career. So you see, the results you get are through output. And output, how do we get output? Through projects. Now this is the hierarchy of the completion of projects and information. So if you check, we go from left hand side to right hand side. Plan, organize and execute. I don't believe in something called a schedule. So if you read any productivity books or advice or anything, they all focus on scheduling, block a certain amount of time and just do the work in that time. But we can't do the work in that time. Generally, I at least keep my schedule flexible, because it's like whatever my mood wants to do, I'll do it. So I don't do any scheduling. But if you want, you can include the scheduling part as well. But the scheduling is not needed. This is more than enough. The plan, organize, and this is more than enough. So let's just see. So what is this? We have plan, allow the, plan the work which we are going to do. So the short form of this is PO. Okay. So we plan the projects means we do divide and conquer. We plan what to do, and then we organize. So organize is getting all the relevant information for our plan in one place. So we can focus on that project and actually execute to complete it, right? We execute to complete it. So POE, plan, organize and execute. And in information, it is like this. It is COD. It goes from left hand side, capture, organize and distill. Capture the best, then organize it according to what? Projects. And here you can see organize according to projects, and actually it's para. And when you have captured some notes or something, uh, you actually do the distilling. Okay, so this is okay. So this is the whole hierarchy. We have plan, organize, execute, and in information we have capture, organize, and distill. So COD for here and POE for here, and this is the project and information. Now, if you scroll down, this is the whole system. Okay, we had how many? Six vertical columns, and in this six vertical columns, this is what the concepts we have taken. Here, it's divided into two parts. This is action step. Okay, and the thing below is a concept. So if you see in planning part, you can plan for flow of state of ultra focus where you are extremely productive. You can plan for it if you just do your work in a divide and conquer way. Whatever big project you want to do, divide it into subcomponents recursively and then you can start working on it whenever there is time. And this is what this planning and organization thing helps you do. So flow state is the concept, and action step is divide and conquer. Any work you are doing, divide it into smallest of subcomponents. And you don't have to go into a small component like open Google. You have to use your judgment there. But the smallest component, as long as it is 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, it's good enough. 10 minutes, I would say 10 minutes is a good number, because the custom Pomodoro which we use, I also use 10 minutes for it. It used to say that 18 minutes is the attention span. That's why TED Talks used to be max 18 minutes. But now I think like our attention span is around 8 to 10 minutes. So divide the project into subcomponents, work of 10 minutes, let's say each. Okay. So this was the planning. So you start a project and then you plan it and you organize the relevant information accordingly. So your para is projects, the work you are actively doing. Okay. Areas are general responsibilities. Resources are your general interests, and archive is anything which you are not doing, or anything which is done. So actionability is a concept here. Okay. If you check, let me just show my Evernote. Oh, my Evernote is closed. So only in the project, keep the stuff which is relevant to do the work. Okay. So in my knowledge part, I have a lot of information related to AI, but I do not keep that here. So in active projects, it will only contain the stuff relevant to that. So when I'm working, okay, I decide, you know what, I want to do this thing. Select BDML labs for the customers I'm going to be delivering training on. I have not done anything yet. Okay. Rather, I have decided the labs, it's like here. So the finalized labs, lab is BQML, and then visitor BQ, and then there was this data pipeline lab. So these are the three labs which we had finalized. So now I need to prepare for it, do simplify these labs. So this is the kind of like work. So I will not keep anything extra here. Only the stuff which is relevant to this. So data engineering certification, only the stuff which is relevant to this. So you see here, for this resources to be shared with students, I only have this. Okay, I only have this. I do not have anything extra here. Okay, but there are a lot of stuff at different places. So this is what this project's actionability means. Only keep the relevant stuff in the top so that we can focus relentlessly on that. And as you have seen here in my notebooks, my this thing is a bit complex. I have done it like this, but the recommendation is like this. So let me just add an account, or instead of adding an account, let me show in a Evernote web what is the recommendation. The recommendation of this para, okay, so recommendation of this para is like this. Projects is a Evernote stack. All the projects you are working on are here. What I have done is in projects, I have made it active and passive and inactive. Because sometimes if I get bored, I just move the project which is from active to passive. Or sometimes if I stop the work, I move it from passive and I move it to inactive. So that way I can kind of like easily move between stuff. So you see, these many are my inactive ones, these are my passive ones. These are all projects. So it's like active projects, passive projects, and this thing. This is my customization. It is not the recommendation. The recommendation is have a stack and just make it in one place. Okay. The recommendation is have a stack like this: areas, projects, and resources. Okay. So this is how the recommendation is. So let's go back. Let's go back here and you move the stuff in an actionable way. Okay. So then the final this thing part was execution, and we execute intelligently using intermediate output or intermediate packet or checkpoint, whatever word you want to use. The agile methodology is when your work in progress, oops, when your work in progress is more than your capacity, which generally always is. When our capacity increases, we take on more work because that's what we do. We are always kind of like trying to do more, and that's the curse of the capitalism. But anyways, so when work in progress is more than the capacity, the whole system slows down. So we need to execute efficiently, and that's why all these action steps which you have seen, divide and conquer helps us execute efficiently. Para helps us organize efficiently so that we can execute better. Intermediate output helps us not lose the progress. Okay, this is for project. And then this information thing, let me just draw a arrow here. This is passive input. You are checking the newsletter, you are checking a tweet, you are doing anything, and general information, or you need to Google. So information, you find some irrelevant information or you come across it, you capture if it is best, capture it according to para. Okay. And this is how happening in the background. So if I show my Evernote, in my Evernote, if you go into my passive projects or inactive projects, I think it's in my interest topics, education. Yes, this is the edtech which I plan to start in next maybe 7, 8 years. I don't know. So these are all the my research and thoughts and ideas on education and how it should be taught, how to integrate AI in it, blah 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 blah, and all of this research. Okay, so this is just happening over time in the background so that when I do start, it is extremely high quality starting point. So information, this is slow burn happening in the background. Before you do anything, you are just incubating the ideas, making them better. Organize, you have already seen. And distill, you progressive highlighting is what, you save the best part into Evernote, then you bold the best of the best part, and then you do the, highlighting of best of best of best. So that way, if you check any note, okay, if you check any note, you can easily see this is the crux of the note. You don't have to read everything. So this is the entire system. These are the action steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the action steps. And as you can see, the organized part is common. The concepts is 1, 2, 3, then this we haven't taken, 4, and again 5. So just 10 concepts, 2 on an average in every session, and this is the whole productivity system. Okay, now why is this whole thing important? It is extremely important. You might think of it as a simple system, it might feel like it's a cliche, but thing about cliche is they are true, but no one follows them. So cliches are well known but not followed. It's the same thing as simple. So you see, simple system and easy system. There is, don't mistake them. I mean, if you start implementing it, you'll find, doing this habit change is quite complex. So it's a simple system, but it's not easy. So be assured in that the person who invented the system, Tiago Forte, he spent around 8 years of his life on doing this. And then I customized it even further. So more than 60, 70% of stuff I changed. in past 1.5 years, and still not complete. So it's simple, as you can see, only this many points, but it's not easy. So do not try to run behind any other productivity advice. Try to implement this first. The best part here, it's a complete system. Okay, all the points connect to each other, and you can use oops, all the points connect to each other, and they are more than enough, for excuse me, our productivity. So it's a complete system. We don't need anything beyond this. That's really, really, really important. Plan, organize, execute, projects is done. Information capture, organize and distill, the project is done. So it is extremely important for us to kind of like understand this. Okay, so it's a simple, but it's a complete system. And please know that one practical implementation, one concept you implement is enough to improve your productivity. Don't try to bite more than you can chew. Okay, so if you see here, out of these action steps, one, even if you just implement one, it will improve your productivity. So just one step, and if you can complete the whole system, you'll find it is extremely, extremely effective. Okay, anyways, so how to learn this course? And the thing is, Stephen King, one of the most prolific authors, extremely good writer, writes amazing horror stories. Now, not the so great books anymore. Some of them are gems. Wrote Shawshank Redemption. So extremely incredible. Okay, he said, good books don't give up all their secrets at once. So, in other words, it's you learn more every time you read the same book. What does it mean? When you know more, you notice even subtler things. So, if you read something once, you only get the most obvious things. After you know the obvious, next time you read the same thing, you will find more subtler things which you missed first time. Another time you will find out subtler things which you missed before. Another time you'll find more subtler things which you missed before. This is how it works. Okay, so if you go here, in it's same thing happened for my course here. So it's like the building a second brain course which I did. This course, when I was doing online, then for I did this thing. So around 10 months, I was doing the same course again and again, at least 5 to 6 times. And at the end of it, I had learned just one part of the system, capture. And as you can see, there are total 5 action steps. And I spent a lot of time, around 10 months, just mastering capture. Then I did another version of the same course. And then I realized, you know what? I need to do the whole system. So then I did this for 4 months, and I did capture and organize. And then I did another version of that course. And for 3 months, I realized, you know what? I'm not doing distilling, and I'm not doing slow burn. And then in May 2021, I did this thing, and I realized, you know what? I'm not doing execution. I'm not focusing more on the output. So you see, these are the stuff I kind of like realized. And as you can see, this start with something, and over time, your this thing grows quite a bit. Okay, it's the same thing for any kind of growth you might want. So if you check, this is my Trello board. I don't know if I had shown it before. This is my personal growth development chart where I track all of these things. I started this thing in 2017. My journey towards more growth, more intellectual journey, and whatever. I started in 2017. But if you check the current status of my board, you'll find the stuff I'm learning per year is quite more. Okay, it's quite a lot. So you see my yearly this thing, 2017, 3, 4 things. 2018, almost double. 2019, again more than that. 2020, I did less things, but it was a lot of efforts in those things. And 2021, these many things. So you see, over time, the growth becomes quite a lot. So going back to the point here, the same thing is for this course. 5 units you have, okay, they have been uploaded on YouTube. Don't think that you have gotten everything in just one pass. You do the lecture again, you'll find you missed something before. Implement something, and then you'll find, you know what, you misinterpreted something before. So you have to just keep doing course again and again and again, because in the end, when you have the whole system, that's when the entire results you will find. Like I said, just one action step is more than enough to improve your productivity, but it will shine when you adopt it completely. And for that, you have to do iterations, learn, act, implement. This is what you have to actually do. Now, let me just talk about, if you are trying to incorporate discipline or motivation to, let's say, work better. Let me just talk about that bit. I have a friend who is as fit and even hotter than this person in this photo. Okay, she's amazingly fit. And just in the morning, she used to do 100, Surya Namaskar. That would take her, almost 2 hours. Okay, 200 full Surya Namaskar, not push up, full Surya Namaskar. Now, she exercises because she likes it. And if you ask somebody who likes working how to work, then you are asking the wrong person. You see, those who work hard, probably they like to do what they're doing. So never ask a fit person, because fit person loves that fitness thing. But if you want to do the same thing, should not depend on discipline or motivation. You should be depending on consistency. Okay, so James Clear, he has written a book called as Atomic Habits on habit formation, consistency. This is what he has said. A habit must be established before it can be improved. We aim for improvement from get-go. That's why we never achieve things like this. Okay, so start small, one part. Okay, and then optimize later, or you can say increase later. Start small and keep doing. So going back to the same example of fitness thing, my I had a friend of mine in engineering college. Okay, that guy was able to do 100 push-ups in one shot. He had this quite six packs in college. Okay, and his approach was consistency. And how did he do it? He used to add 5 push-ups per month. So he started in first year. Okay, he started in first year and he started with 5 push-ups every day. That's it. How easy it is to do five push-ups every day. And he added five per month. So eventually his whole thing increased so much. And by the end of fourth year, he was extremely consistent. The same thing he did for gym. He used to go, you know what? I'll go one day per week to gym for 6 months. And after that, I'll add a day. So in 2 years, he had added 4 days per week, and he was extremely consistent in that. Same thing for his, preparation for, company, joining. I think he's in Salesforce now. For his preparation, same thing. He gave himself a lot longer time, and he was extremely consistent. So if you want to be consistent with anything, you have to keep your aim low. Don't try to implement the whole thing, because after a week or two, you'll stop. You will, in the end, do nothing. If you try to attempt to do everything, in the end, you will do nothing. So it's better to start with something and aim to do that something only. Anything is better than zero, and expand extremely slowly. So the consistency, he's one of the people I look up to the most. I mean, one day per week for 6 months he went, and then he added a day. So the discipline is not needed because he adds so slowly that anyone can do it. But people are impatient and they done, you know what? I'm not going to have low aim. I'm going to have big aim. And they aim big for short time and stop completely. So better do this. This is what the consistency means. So how can you apply consistency in an actionable way for this productivity course? Simple. Just one intermediate packet per day and maybe just one capture per day. That's it. If you can do one intermediate packet per day or one capture per day at the end of 1 year, 365 days, you will have 365 intermediate packets and you will have 365 captures. And over time, you will learn to capture better. Over time, you learn to execute better. Over time, you will learn to kind of like effectively create packets better. So, but the aim is just this one tree intermediate packet. That's it. Or if you want to do it, either do one of these. Don't do both of them together. Just start with one. Don't aim to implement everything in one go. Okay. So this is the productivity system. And if you kind of like check, it's the same thing here. Expand slowly. Start with implementing any one thing. Like I said, I showed that Evernote notebook already. I started with implementing just capture for 10 months. And then I realized, you know what, I'm missing the most important part. So I was copying the whole thing as is. I customize it for my own thing later. So I kind of like when I understood the system, you know what, this is what it means. I have, different kinds of thing, active projects, inactive projects, and same thing. I'm getting confused between so many. So I need a stack for each of these things. This is what I found for myself. But you should not try to customize or optimize in the beginning. Try to replicate the whole system as is slowly, bit by bit. Projects, areas, resources, and archive, and expand slowly. Start with implementing any one thing. Okay. And most importantly, focus on the system, not on the tools. Okay. So for highlighting, there is extension Digo, which I shared. There are a lot of alternatives. Liner, there is an alternative, or highlighting, there is this thing, or you don't even do Viva is there, or there are a lot of alternatives, or you don't highlight in the browser, you simply bookmark. Bookmarking is also easy, right? And after you bookmark, then you can kind of like do this thing. So if you can't highlight on your company laptop, there is an alternative which is Instapaper. If you can't highlight a article in if you can't install Digo extension, send the web page to Instapaper and you can do highlighting natively in Instapaper. So you can do in Instapaper or Pocket, get any of this thing is fine. But thing being, it's the system we want to highlight. That's it. What tool to use to highlight, don't focus on that. So we want to do note taking. I said Evernote. But don't focus on the Evernote software part, focus on the concept part. Project area archives, and under projects, you have multiple projects. And then under areas, you have multiple areas, stuff like this. When you know the system, you can do it anywhere. So whatever software you like, whatever you want to do, you can implement the whole system in that place. No need to worry about it. Okay. So this is what this thing is. So when you start learning, simple partial implementation of the system, even one concept, one actionable, one action step will increase your productivity. Even one concept will increase your approach to productivity. Okay. And when you do the complete implementation, your productivity would have increased, your capacity would have increased. Okay. But like I said, grow slowly. Okay. And then you can kind of like do this thing. So the same project which you used to do in, let's say, a certain amount of efforts, after some time, 2 or 3 years, you will be able to do the same thing in half the efforts, in half the time. So I am currently not at this stage. Okay. These are the four stages of this thing. I have done this, I have done this, I am here, and I am also here. So I have a strong existing nodes to reuse in future. I don't yet have projects I can reuse in future. But you see, keep doing this system for, let's say, 2, 3 years. In the end, you would have such amazing gems with you that you will find that you have your own, let's say, brain with you, which you can, use anywhere is needed. So this is why I have kind of like given this extra resources. So please do check this link which I have done. And this is a public, what? Okay, this is so dumb. Why has this become Limo Dodo something? Anyways, so this is the public thing. It is made for, but everyone has been given read write access here. If you check into recommended extra reading here, I've given a lot of articles per unit wise. Okay, they give a lot of details here. So articles on unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4. Here in unit 4, there is this article, Da Vinci and this guy who invented a note-taking system called as Zetaman. Okay, Zetaman, this guy wrote more than 90 100 books. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the most prolific creators ever, he was prolific because of his notes. He had so many notes and he used them to be productive. And this is an incredible article which kind of like tells you focus on the system, not on the tool, not on, oh, I want to use this software, that software. Start implementing, get partial implementation, then expand slowly, then go to this thing, complete implementation, and then kind of like you after you do this, you will speed will increase, and then eventually in next 2, 3 years, you would have such a strong backlog. It like you will have double the capacity. You can do triple work with triple speed, something like this. Anyways, so how to implement this system? If you want to implement any change, you have to go with human psychology. Make it fun. Why do people don't need encouragement to play games? Because games are fun. Okay. Make it rewarding. Why doesn't let's say time pass or Netflix thing is hard? Because it's rewarding. You have fun, it's rewarding, you get satisfaction. And something which is extremely difficult to start or extremely difficult to keep going, we won't do it. So while implementing the system, keep these things in mind. Try to find out ways you can do it fun for you. Try to do projects which will give you immediate returns so that it is rewarding for you. And don't try to do too much. Make it easy to start. Make it easy to keep going. As long as you see, if you put in point 0.1 effort for 10 days versus if you try to put zero point 0.5 effort for, let's say, 2 days, it's the same result, right? One. But think about 100 days. What will happen if you put zero point 0.1 effort for 100 days? You'll get 10 things. But when you are trying to put in zero point 0.5 efforts, probably you'll stop at 4 or 5 days. So let's say if you do it 10 days here, it will be like 5 result here versus 10. If you continue doing it for 200, 300 days, even zero point 0.1 accumulates quite a bit. But in the end, slowly you can grow. Remember, consistency grows slowly, and over time, you'll have an insane growth. Okay. So this is what we are. Unconscious incompetence is like you don't know and you don't know that you don't know. Conscious is when you know that you don't know. This is conscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence is like, oh, I can be productive, but I just haven't found time or will to do it. So there I can easily do it. That's unconscious incompetence. It's like they don't know and they don't know that they don't know. Conscious competence is like when you have started to acknowledge that I don't have all the answers with me. That's a true beginner. When you are learning, this is the learning and implementing phase. Okay. You were already here when you started the session. You were beyond beginner. You have done the learning part, but the implementation part is not different from learning because this course is actionable. Okay. This course is actionable. You will learn a lot through implementation. So learning, implementation, and through implementation you learn more. So go through my YouTube videos multiple times, start implementing, decide on which concept you want to start with, and just implement that for a few months, then expand, and then you will reach this conscious competence. Conscious competence means you are skilled, but you still have to pay a bit of attention to do it. Okay, that's when you're proficient. And when you reach the stage of unconscious competence, means you can't do it even in your sleep. That's the true expertise. I am currently partially at the proficient stage. I'm not at expert stage. The person, Tiago Forte, whose course I have customized and improved further, he is at expert stage because he has been doing this for 10 years. Okay, he decides a project and he executes it at such an incredible speed. Okay, I will also be able to do it in next 2 3 4 years. You will also be able to do it in next 2 3 4 years. So this is the starting point of an incredible journey of productivity, with help of which you can do something which you only dreamed before. Okay, and you see, novice, beginner, proficient, expert, mastery. You can't be master at everything. So right now for capture, I'm probably at expert. For organize, I'm probably a tiny bit here in between. For progressive highlighting, I'm a bit less here. Intermediate output, I'm a bit more proficient in this thing. Divide and conquer, I'm still a bit here. So I do this quite a lot, and my productivity is quite amazing than before. But still, I have not reached the complete mastery of all the concepts here. Okay, so this system is simple, but it's not easy. It's a complete system. You don't need anything beyond this. Okay, and you don't need to do anything else. Just master this, and when you master almost all of this component, then decide what you need to learn this thing. So these are the 4 levels of competence. Okay, these are the 4 levels of competence. Anyways, so don't get discouraged when you see progress to be slow. This productivity system is built over time. Tiago Forte, the guy whose course I customized, like I said before, he started in 2012 and he almost had 1 note per day. 2013, I think he had a more problems, so he had stopped doing this. 2014, he kind of like 2 notes per day, and then it's something like this. If this is my case, I started doing this system since July 2019. In the entire month, in the beginning, I took 9 notes. Next month, I took 15 notes. Next month, 11 notes, September 2019. So like this. So you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. I took one note in maybe 2 days. Such a slow speed. And then I was like, you know what? It's quite useful. I should be doing this more. And then in January, I did more. Okay. And then I kind of like this was my Josh wala thing. Then it dropped back 60, 36, 30, 24, 18, 14. And then I realized, okay, I should be doing this more. And then again jump. Okay. So this is where I actually started seeing the difference. So it took me what? 7 around complete 1 year to actually see transformation in myself. This was just slow growth and this thing. And then I kind of like have been consistent here. This is what the system growth looks like. Okay. So please kind of like, whatever work you're doing, do the capturing organization, whatever it may be passively. Most of our day is spent in doing work in intermediate outputs. Okay. And keep in mind that when your work in progress is more than your capacity, then you have to do these things. When the work you have to do is less than your capacity, then you don't need to be productive, right? You don't have to do any work because your capacity is more or your work is less, right? So this is this thing. Focus on execution and grow your system slowly through that. Anyways, so let me just go into this part and talk about extremely common problems in productivity. Okay, extremely common problems in productivity and solutions. So first extremely common problem, reduced attention span or increased ping from Slack or some chat or something, or mom coming and we are all working from home, or interruption from kids. So we have reduced attention span. So the solution isn't to increase our attention span. Okay, probably the change is irreversible because of internet and devices training our mind. The thing is, you know what? If our attention span is reduced, let's reduce the work which you have to do. Let's work in intermediate packets. And Pomodoro, which was used to be, what, work in 25 minutes sprint, let's divide into 10 minutes. So the Pomodoro starts in 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, you can get a lot of work done. Rather, you can get some work done. And this accumulates. So the solution to this problem is intermediate packet plus custom Pomodoro, which we have seen. The second most common problem is not starting. Okay, we procrastinate a lot. We stop, delay the work we need to do. So what is the solution? If you have divided a project recursively, divide and conquer way, then eventually you will actually find something which is easy to start. Okay, so not starting work procrastination is because we don't have deadline, right? But if we decide, you know what, I'm going to do this one tiny bit in this one intermediate packet, slowly the momentum builds and you start working. So then forgetting the relevant information when you need it during meeting or something. Answer is simple, capture it in digital note taking system. Instead of remembering, search. Okay, instead of remembering, search and simply read through it quickly and it will become clear in your brain. Okay, then if you are getting distracted while working through, on YouTube, LinkedIn, something like this, work with intermediate packet and custom Pomodoro. Your screen is like this, split it into two parts. One is the intermediate packet you are working on. One is, whatever you are using to do the intermediate packet. And here have a Pomodoro timer. So the software is Pomodoro Tracker. I'll give the link of that after this thing. So when you do it like this, it will actually remind you or automatically, oh, I'm doing some time pass. And if you're overwhelmed and this thing, it means your work in progress is more than your capacity. Solution is intermediate packet. Intermediate packet allows you to make tiny bits of progress without losing the progress you have done before. Okay, so that's the kind of like thing here. Okay, so this is the whole system thing. These are the most common problems to productivity, and how the solution lies into the system I have kind of like seen here. So know that a really small subset of information which you have used and processed and used is better than ideal but unused information. Don't do information hoarding. Okay, don't do information hoarding, or in many a times we go into idea black hole. We go into, oh, we can do this, we can do that, we can do that, you can do that, and we only go into this tangent of so many things we could do, but in the end we don't do anything, any single thing. So it's the same thing here. Do one thing complete first and then think about another. So the idea brainstorming, think of 10, 20 ideas, decide the best one and then complete that. We get distracted into so many tangents. That's extremely bad. Okay. Anyway, so that's this. So just some common mistakes which I have observed happen while doing this thing. I've taught this into Googlers, to customers, to other trainers. So few common mistakes. People searching for the best software. Don't do this. This is a futile exercise. Don't search for, ooh, I want this note taking software. Ooh, there is this Notejoy. There is this Bear. There is this thing. Don't go into this. Focus on system. Tools you can just replace. Okay. Don't customize the system before you have adopted it completely. So in customization, you just adopt, get into habit of doing this thing and then customize. Don't customize before. It will make this whole journey a lot slow. Another thing is like implementing the whole system in one go. No, try to implement just one concept or two, at most two. Do this for a few months and then add another concept. So I have taught everything in one go, but you have to implement it in bits and pieces at a time. One or two concepts for 1 or 2 months, and then you add things here. Okay. Whenever you're working, don't start without an intermediate packet open where you are gonna save the progress of the work you have done. Okay, and intermediate packet corresponds to the divided subcomponent of work in planning. Okay, so if you check this thing, which is let's see. Go back here, you see divide and conquer. The whatever is the divide subcomponent here, generally this thing kind of like corresponds to one ID. Okay, so never start any laptop on sitting, okay, I'm going to do some work. Never start without the intermediate packet open. It could be a sticky note, it could be anything. Okay, common mistake. This is another common mistake, trying to organize your past information. Trust me, this is an infinite black hole. Let me just show you. Mm, my downloads folder. Okay, so this is my current downloads, but this is the downloads folder before. So if you scroll down, insane number of files. I one time was wanted to kind of like do organization. Actually was trying to attempting to do this pretty well, and I found out it is impossible. I have around 5-6,000 bookmarks. I didn't want to, just keep them like this. And it was impossible to organize those bookmarks, those old files. Just create a folder called as archive. That is what the A stands for in para, archive. Okay. Move all your bookmarks or all your files or everything into that folder archives. So here you can see archive 2021, archive which is before that. Everything is archived here. So I have not lost any of those bookmarks. They're still here. I'll need to find it just in this folder. But I will organize the future projects like this in this format of para. Same thing into my files. Okay. So eventually the para thing is supposed to be like this, even onto your folder structure. So any file you download, so you do the projects, whatever stuff here. So you do this structure like this. I have done the para implementation in Evernote. I have not yet done that into my file system and my Chrome browser. But you do para everywhere. You do para everywhere. Where do we work? We generally work in browser. We generally work in, let's say, Evernote, note taking, or we work in files. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 places. I have only kind of like applied para in Evernote, but I have yet to do this in browser and files. So like I said, the system building is a work in progress. The same thing applies to you. Then another thing is don't have low threshold for capture. Okay. So if you think, oh, this is could be useful, never think about could be. Only capture good stuff. Okay, only capture good stuff so that eventually you will have the best stuff. We don't want our note taking system to be full of just okay, fine material. We want this to have the best stuff. So this is the stuff, anything which is here should be best, and you kind of like learn to have this high quality threshold over time. I used to capture quite a bit, and recently I've realized since past a month or two the importance of deleting. So now I had captured a lot of useless stuff. I now I delete it. I don't kind of like capture useless stuff, and I now delete and trim my notes to make it lean. Okay, don't spend more time in information collection or information organization or information distilling. Focus on execution. Rest of the stuff, execution takes the most time. If you go back here, execution takes the most time. Rest is like quite less. So anyone who is focusing more time in information, it's a time taken from execution. I did this mistake. I did this mistake as well, spending time in information. So spend majority of time in execution. Don't spend it outside the execution. And then don't go on Google Black Hole. If you need to find anything, you should have your note-taking system, which is collection of your notes, collection of your thoughts. Okay. And keep into that. Google should be your last resort, not first resort, because Google is this huge black hole. Okay, even if you want to go on Google, you should keep in mind that it's like, I just want to do this. Don't get lost into, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Don't get lost into that algorithmic recommendation which kind of like come. And the flow state, which I said, the state of ultra focus, which is said to be a really important thing for life satisfaction and happiness. Don't chase flow. If you are a productivity fan, and I mentioned flow, and don't try to chase flow. Chasing it makes it run farther from. So just do your own thing, and this thing will happen automatically. Okay. So this is the kind of like common mistakes to avoid, and this is what we kind of like have in this thing. So from the content side, we are actually done. I have taught you everything, and now what remains is you following that thing. So like Morpheus says to Neo, okay, I'm trying to free your mind. I can only show you the door. You are the one that has to walk through it. So the walking this teaching will probably take 5-6 months. I have tried to avoid uh, giving you vague instructions. Okay, I've given you explicitly all the things needed to do it better. I've given you explicitly all the mistakes which might happen so that you don't waste time the way I did. Okay, so I have saved a lot of work for you, but the main job is walking on this path, and I hope you guys do this. So that's the kind of like conclusion for our session. I would really like to hear any your thoughts or these things you have on this. Any observations, any increase in your productivity? What are your thoughts on this whole thing? What are your suggestions? Whatever. I would love to hear from you. How many people we have? We have 5 people. Any thoughts, any suggestions, any improvements you observed in your work because of the training, anything? The floor is open. Yes, Manav. I think you raised hand. I think it was mistake. Anyone?
Hi,
Yes,
Ajinkya.
Bhavna.
Yeah,
Yes.
actually, thanks a lot for taking out these sessions. It was really helpful, and I really liked it. The thing that you recorded the sessions and shared with us, and you also gave time to address our doubts or whatever clarification that we needed. So that was really good on your part. And coming to the implementation part, I'm really scared how regularly I'll do, because someday I miss out on doing the things the way that you have suggested. So I don't know
Hmm.
how to keep the consistency. I need some tips from you to keep it doing this way throughout.
Right. This consistency is an extremely common problem. That's why I had the specific 3 slides just on that. Right. Your aim should be every day you just want to do one intermediate packet. That's it. Anything extra is a win. Trying to implement everything or trying to do a lot of things is the reason why most people stop. So for your consistency, just start slow, and eventually in 6 months you'll find tremendous difference. But don't try to implement everything in one go. I have taught everything in one go. Ideally, what would have been better is like if the next session was after a month, so this should have been done across 6 months. So one unit and you do this whole thing for a month or two. So it would have then taken one entire year to teach this, and that's not feasible. So the teaching has been done. The doing takes 6 months to 12 months. So keep that in mind. You are trying to maybe implement it in 1 month, and that's why you probably think that you will stop doing it because, like I said, you're trying to attempt too much.
Okay, thanks, Ajinkya.
Yes. Any thoughts, questions? Abhishek, Poonam, Ajay?
Yeah, hi Ajinkya, Poonam here.
Hi.
So it was
Yes.
really a very good sessions. All the sessions which you have given till now, and obviously the videos, the recordings which you have shared with us, those are really helpful. And I think we have to give our efforts now to try implementing it and use it in our daily lives, daily schedules. So I started with few things, like adding the task whichever I'm getting daily into the planner and just going through it, because earlier it was happening like there were n number of things coming in my plate, and I was not aware that which thing is to be considered as a priority, and which is pending and which is sorted out. So just taking a note of everything has helped me a lot, which I would mention. And definitely the I will work on building this productivity system. Need to spend more time on that, but we'll surely work on it, and will trouble you if I have
Yeah,
any
no worries.
doubts.
Nice. This is a so I feel I have simplified the whole process as much as I can. I have tried to simplify it and only distill to the only essential stuff. But if you think there is something which is kind of like unnecessary, feel free to kind of like just remove that while implementing. But I do feel like these are all the things involved in general work planning. If we don't spend work time in planning the work, then the work becomes chaotic. We do a lot of different things and we lose progress. But taking time to plan, divide the work into subcomponents, gives us clarity. Okay, this big project has been divided into 90 subcomponents. Okay, I'll do 3 per day, and in next quarter my work will be done. But if you don't do that, then it's like this whole big dragon which you don't know how to address. But if you divide into subcomponents, it's steps.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Abhishek, Ajay,
Uh, Hello, sir.
hello.
Thank you for this session. I have also started implementing this. So slowly on the trial error basis, like I'm trying and failing and again trying.
Right. This is how the system will be built for you specifically. Because that's the thing. This system can be taught, but it can be taught by me, but it can only implemented by only by you. And implementation takes time, and that's where the most value is. And truly, it's like once you spend time and do this, you'll find tremendous value addition to your life. So yes. Cool. You have all the recordings, so please do go through this again and again. And in the Notion document, which I'll share again because I feel like the link has changed. I'll kind of like upload the slides as well. Okay.
I
Before
couldn't
you
find
go,
the. Sorry.
Oh, yes, Manav, you are on a unmute now.
so sir, you told me that you are going to share the name of the books, some books like.
Oh, yes. So the book recommendation. So the Notion page which I have created and shared with everyone. In that, I have given list of recommended articles, also recommended videos to watch, recommended movies to watch, recommended TV shows to watch. So the Notion page is where all the extra resources live. So I have given the recommended books and everything. If you just go to that page, you'll find everything there, including slides.
Uh, Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Yes, and I was saying, hi, Jinka.
Hello.
I couldn't figure how to unmute earlier. So what I was saying is that I think I might have to go through these videos. Thanks for saving it for all of us. I think I might have to go through it a couple of more times, and not just one. I mean, I think maybe a little more than one to really grasp the entire concept better, because I don't think in this one uh,
Exactly.
through these one sessions it'll be enough, because I think this is something you've been working on for a long time, and
Yeah, one and a
for
half
us to be
years I have been working on, and the guy who invented this, he was working on it for a decade. So as you can imagine, it's 12 years compressed into 1 month.
so there's just like an ocean of information right now. These, the things that you put very simply, like, it's organized. The organization part of these, what's important, what's not, what will be useful, like deciding, also assessing, what information would be important, what wouldn't be, what's useful for me, am I putting too much time into this rather than my work. I mean, there's just so much to figure out while learning as well.
Exactly. And this question itself is a great question. So organize what to organize. Is it relevant or not? These questions which you just said now, right? Before you wouldn't have thought of these questions, correct? So it would have
Hmm.
been a chaos of information coming at your brain. But when you have this thought process, it's just five, six things to keep in mind. And the thing with ADHD is getting overwhelmed or lost in the chaos of input coming in. But
True that.
when you kind of like limit that to a system where you're going to jot down stuff and you're going to focus on completion. So there is this quote. So normal people start 100 projects and finish 10. ADHD people start 10,000 projects and finish 5. So people think that ADHD people are less productive than normal people, but in reality is the effort is extremely diluted in too many things. So whereas if you have a system, you realize your own dilution and you can focus on doing fewer but completing them effectively. This is what this whole thing allows. And I am planning on making doing this course just for ADHD India, when you had mentioned, right? So
Right.
let's sit and let's do this for ADHD India so that it can be customized even further.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll give them a heads up also about this, so more people get some time out.
Correct,
Thank
works.
you so much. You've really given us some food for thought, some very
Cool.
essential tools, I would say, that we could use for our life skills rather. Things
Yes,
that,
definitely.
these are things that people don't tell you, but they use it in their lives. So this is
It's
really
because
good.
it's subconscious. That's the thing. It's many these things are subconscious. I've tried to make them explicit as much as I can. So hopefully this helps. Ajay, you were saying something?
Yeah, actually, I joined after third session, like this course.
Okay.
Previously, like
Yes.
what my experience is like. Previously, I was not aware, or like in day-to-day life, or on LinkedIn or any other platform on the internet. Like I was the victim for the recommendation system, like scrolling different posts, and now at least I got the awareness about how to extract the pure content which is helpful
Hmm.
for me for my project execution. And second thing is like think everything as a project, so that will
Correct.
give me a clear idea about what to execute or what to neglect or just forget. So really I'm implementing
Bravo.
this one,
I,
and
I
like
have I did not mention that, Ajay, because whenever you think in everything in projects, there is one important thing in project: prioritization and deprioritization. But that's an advanced concept, so I didn't mention that. But you already got the crux of it. Amazing.
yeah. So it's like I'm implementing these things, and like it is making me more productive also, and like other areas of my life is improving from this productive
Right,
workshop. And thanks a lot.
right.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
it
you so
does
much.
help in all areas. So my mental health, I had anxiety problems, I had anger issues. These personal things also I addressed through this, and I don't think I have shown that, but let me just share my screen. And so in this, there is okay. So I showed the Trello board, but that does not encompass all the growth I've had. So it kind of like this is the whole thing here. So it's a intense growth I have achieved all through this note taking and reflection. So it's a huge 2-3 page long thing, and over time, kind of increasing even personal goals, achieving those things, and improving life satisfaction and happiness. It's not just a productivity system; it's a quite comprehensive thing. So yeah, I do hope you guys implement. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me on WhatsApp, and we can just get on call, and I can help you navigate the system better. Okay, yes, one more thing. One more thing. So I am going to run the same cohort at end of next month. So if you have any friends who you think will benefit from this, let them know and let me know so that I can, give them details of the next cohort. That's one. And number two, if you can send me a email or a Twitter or anything on which you just give your feedback, your review of this course online. That will be very helpful for me. So please give a review via email or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever, but do give review if you can. It doesn't have to be good, go for honest one. I prefer honesty. If it was bad, say that, and not a problem at all. But I would really appreciate that.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Ajinkya.
Yeah.